Yeah, you're winning it all this time. You're winning it all. Yeah, it'll be your time to shine. 'Cause you're winning it all. Yeah, you're winning it all. You're winning it all. Yeah, you're winning it all.
Don't get any better than this.
Allstate Glory Days, the legends of the '85 Chicago Bears, is brought to you by Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate. Are you in good hands? By American Airlines. Refined accommodations provided by the Conrad Chicago, where tailored service and contemporary amenities meet to enhance the unique individuality of each guest.
I'm the fourth string quarterback, but due to a pregame meal of all-you-can-eat calamari, now I'm the first string quarterback. But I'm also a transfer student, so I'm a little lost. And if you've got cut rate insurance, your jacked up rates might make you sick. So get accident forgiveness from Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate.
From the Airy Crown Theater in Chicago, your hosts for the evening, Tom Dreesen and Mike Adamant.
He was probably more of a ringmaster than he was a head football coach. Ladies and gentlemen, the coach, Mike Ditka. Come on out. His greatest antagonist. A guy who proved that you could have fun and win at the same time. The punted QB, Jim McMahon. A guy who had fun and also kicked butt as well. The one, the only Steve McMichael Mongo. Number 99, Hall of Famer class of 2002, the Dynamo, Dan Hampton. How good is it to see these guys together again? Oh my God. Sit down, gentlemen. This is the last chance probably you'll all get to talk about what really happened in 1985. And Coach, we're going to start things off with you. You have said this on many, many occasions, but I'd like for you to explain to the audience why you thought that this team was a team that had great character, but also had great characters.
Well, they were just a group of guys who went out and did their job. We talked about Grabowski's, but they epitomized what it was. They understood what they wanted. I think from the beginning when I got there were a lot of good football players on that team when I got there. But the other ones that weren't there, we filled in, and we got some other guys, and once we got going, it was pretty good to watch. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I was in the right place at the right time. I can remember the day that Coach Landry said, "Listen, Mr. Hallis wants to talk to you." I thought he was going to find me again. But instead, I fly to Chicago, and he made me the head coach. And he told me at that time, too, that he was keeping the whole defensive staff and everything. I didn't care. It didn't matter to me. I wanted an opportunity to do what I dreamed about doing, was coaching Chicago Bears, that's all. So it all worked out in the long run. It all worked out.
Jim, I know today, and even back then, you had great respect for Coach Ditka, but why did you just drive him crazy day after day? It was like it was designed. You planned it. Every single night you'd come up with a different plan to make him nuts.
I didn't do anything to make him nuts. I did things that I thought would help our team win.
Tell me the truth. We want the truth, and he can handle the truth.
He couldn't call plays. That's all. Mike was a tight end, and he called plays like a tight end, okay?
Mongo, what was so special about it for you?
Let me tell the audience about my precursor to greatness, my first Bear practice. Didn't know what Buddy Ryan looked like, but I met him that day. I'm out at practice getting ready. this little fat man walks up to me. He comes up to me and says, well, 76, you've been working out? Because I'm going to work your butt off today. I said, yeah, I got this big black dog. We've been jogging. I'm in shape, coach. He said, oh, yeah, 76, we'll find out. So after his 110 gassers at his boot camp, training camps, I'm bent over, just starting to dry heave. You know that stitch in your side? I hear that smart ass walk up behind me. You know what he says? Shoot, 76, we should have signed the freaking dog.
So you would not be where you are today without the presence of a guy who's made it here. He's been waiting a long time to see you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what this man was all about.
We're gonna come at you, and we're gonna hit your quarterback until you get another one in.
Turn loose the horses now.
We're gonna keep coming, and we're gonna keep you guessing, and we're gonna keep you thinking. We're not ducking and dodging, we're gonna have fun, because the 46 defense was as physical and as nasty as you wanna get.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Buddy Rowland. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw history in the making, because I believe that is the first time that you and Buddy have hugged since?
No, that's not true. We hugged this morning, and we hugged this afternoon, and we hugged tonight. And we'll hug tomorrow.
That's still 25 years, Coach.
It's the closest they've been since the shower in Miami 25 years ago.
Why was there such a rift between you two, or was there?
I don't think there was. I mean, my job was to coach the defense, and I did that and did it superbly.
Well, we know for a fact, and now fans are starting to get the drift too, that there was an argument of sorts that happened in the middle of that dreadful game against the Miami Dolphins. What went on with the eraser buddy, and what happened at halftime?
I tell you, to me, I never know that it happened, and I don't think it did happen. I think some writer made up a damn story to sell a newspaper.
When Ming came to Chicago, you had been cut by New England. And you
Criminal element, they called me.
Criminal element. That's your words, not mine. But I'm just saying, you know, Buddy knew that Ming had a huge upside, but he wanted to challenge him. And he would do crap like, you know, he'd say, on Friday night, all right, guys, I don't mind if, he'd tell McMichael, I don't mind if you go out and get drunk, but don't take the players with you. Stuff like that, you know, and then Ming would be like Sunday morning, couldn't wait to tear somebody's ass, because he wanted to play great, to prove it to Buddy that he's one of those guys.
Buddy is part of the Chicago Bears lore and was the defensive coordinator that year because of a conversation that Mike had with the then general manager of the Chicago Bears, who's with Tom Dreesen right now. Tom?
Yeah, I'm standing here with Jerry Venisi, former general manager of the Chicago Bears.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Jerry, tell us a story about a call you called Mike Ditka, I think, into the office about something. You want to relate?
Buddy was signed by Coach Alice first before Mike was signed, about 3 weeks later as head coach. And actually at the time, I think Buddy and I both thought he was going to name him head coach. Well, Mike came in, and after about 3 years, there was a certain tension, regardless of what they're saying tonight, between the offense and defense, and it was kind of like us against them all the time, whether it was practice or whatever. So the 84 season's over. Buddy's 3-year contract is up, and I said to Mike, I said, now's your chance if you want to bring in another defensive coordinator, and he didn't. He acknowledged Buddy's talent and what we had, and he thought he had what was special, and he wanted to keep it together. So,
Jerry Venisi, thank you very much.
It takes you a long time to figure things out, but we really had 2 head coaches, period. It was that simple. I mean, you could cut it any way you want to. We had 2 head coaches.
What a guy. But, Buddy, as great as that defense was, and as great as the great Walter Payton and the offense and Jim and the offensive line and all the pieces were, we don't win a Super Bowl without this guy right here. Make no mistake about it. Just understand that. Understand that. And you know what? I'm thinking we got to do something. And Ming and I came up with a couple of ideas. And, you know,
Oh, don't
Buddy,
think we don't have props.
I know you live in Kentucky and you haven't been around, but Coach has been doing pretty well for himself here the last few years.
Oh.
And he's got restaurants and he's got barbecue sauce and he actually has a vineyard and they produce some of the finest wine known to mankind. Mike Ditka's Cabernet Sauvignon, and I just want you to have that as a token.
Well, you could have got him
Buddy.
the best one.
Well, that's for Buddy. And then we're thinking, well, wait a minute, Buddy needs to give Mike something. And so, you know, Buddy's got the horses, he's got the Kentucky stable, and I'm thinking maybe with some of the finest stuff that Buddy's horses could manufacture, Buddy Ryan's Kentucky horse. But
my dad, when the '85 Bears went to the Super Bowl, he went to Sears and got us the whole uniform, the plastic helmet, the Walter Payton 34. After that, I've always been a Bears fan.
Everybody was proud to say that they were from Chicago, and if they weren't from Chicago, they lied about it and said they were from Chicago.
Just like Al Capone was in the 1920s, here in 1980s, the Bears, with everything, it's always Ditka.
Bear down, Chicago Bears, and let them know why you're wearing the crown.
You're the pride and joy of
Illinois, Chicago Bears, bear down. Doodly-doo.
That's how we celebrate.
I'm a satellite dish. The only reason you got me was for football. But for today's game, I'm a little fuzzy. So you tried to fix me. But you just made me loose. Newsflash. If you have cut rate insurance, you might not be covered for this. So get Allstate and protect your house and car from mayhem like me.
Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate.
Are you ready for the second quarter, everybody? All right, let's bring out our 85 Super Bowl champions. First of all, number 22, Double D, Dave Duerson. Number 85, the silky one, Dennis McKinnon. He's informative, he's bright, he was a great, great member of the 70-85 Bears, Tommy Thayer. Before we talk to you guys, there's a reason why we have that number up here, obviously. There is nobody else like Sweetness, and I'm going to use my Comcast remote and show you why.
We made a wager that who would be the first one to break down in tears, and I was the first one to say that I wouldn't, and I was the first one to say how strong I was and everything else, but as it goes to show that a lot of times when you're amongst your peers, such as these great athletes over here, you try to be something that you're not. And after hearing my son get up here and talk, I don't care if I lose the bet.
John Madden spoke of Walter as a treasure. And that's the word I remember 10 years later. And we are very grateful that he is our treasure.
Each and every one of us, fans and coaches and teammates alike, desperately miss him, and we miss him every single day. And I think, Tommy, you're a pretty good person to start with. Just tell us your thoughts about how in awe you were of number 34.
He just was my hero. And I was a kid who, Joel A. Catholic, all we did was run the ball. And all you knew about was running backs, and all you knew about was greatness. When I got to be able to come and play for the Bears and I sat in the huddle, I was so excited to sit and look at Walter Payton that I had a hard time listening to the play and realizing your responsibility and your assignment, because I would sit in the huddle and I would just look at him and I would kind of stare at him, and it was the first couple weeks, it was so hard because I was so excited to be around him. I never grew out of the admiration I had for Walter.
Coach knows this on Monday morning. I love watching film because I make sure my guy never made the play. And when you see them stutter step, long runs, he set up McKinnon because I'm going to knock somebody out. And that, to me, was the greatest gift I ever had playing for this organization. I love to block. And I had to block for 34, so what a great gift that is.
You had the great opportunity to play with Walter in several Pro Bowls over in Hawaii, and then when the regular season was over, obviously it was a different Walter Payton.
Yeah. Our very first day, we have media day. And as interviews are starting, I'm beginning to sweat. And, things are just heating up. But the way the heat is coming from down here. What Walter would do is that he would put unscented liquid heat on each of our jocks. So it gave new meaning to the term that Singletary used to talk about. We'd line up in our defense, he'd talk about we got to get our nuts hot.
I would be in the office late at night, and I would get some strange phone calls. It was from an Hispanic-speaking woman, and she said her name was Yolanda, and she kept saying, geez, I'd like to meet you at so-and-so and so. Well, thank God I never went.
Diana, you believe that?
So I'm out on the practice field one day, and I'm watching practice, and I got my arms folded, and I hear this voice behind me, Coach, will you meet me at the hotel? Walter. I say one thing. I don't believe in these greatest things that they put out. There is no such thing as the greatest. We all have a time in history. We all have a place in history. There was no better football player in the history of this game than Walter Payton. When you talk about the whole package, I don't care. I saw Jimmy Brown. I saw them all. Nobody did what he did.
Behind every great man, there's, of course, a great woman. Would you say hello to Walter Payton's wife, Connie Payton? Connie, would you? Connie, what do you feel?
I didn't expect to cry again, but there's so many wonderful stories. He definitely was a special man. He truly was in so many ways. I mean, he was a great husband, a wonderful father, and I guess you would have to ask the kids about that, right?
Thanks, Connie. It is so tough to make it on your own when your dad is such a big star, but Jarrett Payton has done that and more. Jarrett, biggest thing you've ever learned from your dad?
think the biggest thing is giving back. I mean, that was his big thing. That's what me, my mom, and my sister are carrying on, is that he was very blessed to have the things that he got, and but he never forgot where he came from. And you know, he was a special person. I know he's shining down right now and looking at all these fans and all these people sitting in here, but his biggest thing was team and family. And anytime that you can have someone so special, I was lucky to be around him for 19 years of my life. It's just very special. Even though he's not physically here, he's here. Just backstage, I was just sitting there and I looked down at my watch and it's 8:34. He's here.
No question. No question. Thanks, Jared. He couldn't be here tonight because of some serious health reasons. He came up with the great line, "I was big when I was little." We of course, are talking about the Fridge, William Perry. So we went to South Carolina to see him.
In these rolling hills of South Carolina is William Perry's hometown. He grew up here in Aiken and lives about 8 miles north of downtown, just off Interstate 20, in a brick home he built with his own hands. Perry is recovering from Guillain-Barré syndrome, an immune system illness that temporarily immobilized him and then nearly killed him when it induced pneumonia in 2009.
It attacked my muscles and everything, and then it just mainly almost just paralyzed me. But now I'm back up, moving around, getting around, doing things like I used to, just a little slow at times.
Throughout our 30-minute interview, Perry did not want to dwell on his illness or the financial stress it caused, concentrating on his glory year and the reason he became a national obsession in 1985.
The refrigerator.
Refrigerator, Perry, he's my main man. He can get us to the Super Bowl. Nobody can. I said S-U-P-E-R, Super Bowl.
It just blew up all out of proportion, and you know, we all laughed about it and we enjoyed it. And it was fun. It was fun to us.
All for refrigerator, stand up and holler.
This is Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker here on a beautiful day in San Francisco, and they say maybe the largest crowd ever at Candlestick Park.
He called my number and everything and said, "No, big guy, you gonna run the ball, you gonna score and everything." And I'm sitting up there looking at him and stuff. Yeah, okay, it's fine with me.
And the handoff to William Perry playing in the backfield. William the Refrigerator Perry carried the ball.
He just kept calling the plays each and every week when we had games. I was blocking it and I was running the ball.
Handoff to Perry, crosses the right side of the line, touchdown!
I was happy, the team was happy, so we was having fun.
And Perry is happy again, recovering from his illness, a convalescence aided by the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, a nonprofit group that provides assistance for former NFL players. Their work is evident in Perry's enduring smile and booming voice.
I want to thank all of y'all for coming out and remembering the 85 Bears. We thank you and we appreciate it that you remember us, and we sure appreciate it.
Man, how could we forget? And Coach, you just said it, you know, thanks to the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, we've been able to help William a whole heck of a lot.
A little bit. I'll tell you what really happened. Michael Dean Perry, his brother, is a saint. It really is. He really has taken care of this kid because he was in bad shape. And when I saw him about a year ago out in Rosemont, he's 1,000 times better right there than he was the day we saw him. So Michael Dean is a saint, believe me.
One of the most wonderful, cordial, funny human beings you'd ever want to meet. He didn't say much, but when he said something, it really counted and it really meant something. And I know that Hamp used to call him Biscuit because he was a biscuit shy of 350 pounds. You had a nickname for him as well, yes?
Oh, yeah, we all did. I called him Big Bill. But at all times, Fridge had this cooler in the back of his car, and it always chilled after practice with a case of silver bullets, Coors silver bullets. And And Fridge would, you know, he'd pop the can, he had the biggest hands in the world, and he'd just squeeze it and suck, and, you know, that would be it. One like that, it's done. Off to the next one. And so I said to him, I said, Big Bill, you got to help me out. You know, I'm just a little economist from Notre Dame. But if you're going to drink a case of beer, what difference does it make whether it's regular beer or light beer?
He was on the goal line, and he tried to jump one time like Walter, and you told him, don't do that anymore, Bill. And he said, Tom Thumb, Coach Dick had told me not to jump like Walter anymore, so watch your back.
Thanks, guys.
I'm your lucky team, Flag. We've gone through 14 seasons together, but in Flag years, I'm like 130. Now, I'm just holding on by a thread. If you've got cut rate insurance, you could be dealing with this mess yourself. So get Allstate, where agents keep you protected from mayhem like me.
Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate.